Don't just use smoke because smoke looks cool. Use smoke because it actually enhances, it does something to the dish, it makes the dish what it is. I think for me there's definitely an element of theatre. It is very important, but when you do that there's a reasoning behind it. So the dessert bar is a full dining experience featuring sweet and savoury desserts, which could easily be your dinner. The whole point is that you can see what we're doing, so it's almost like a show. So you can see the whole process from start to finish. And then as a pastry chef, always working in fine dining restaurants, generally, you know, we're in the back of the kitchen, and we work all day to create this stuff, and then we never get to talk to anyone about it. We never see if people like it or not. You know, we never get to see that sort of, that moment of eating it. I always wanted people to see all the work that goes into a dessert. So for the dessert bar, we wanted to be totally transparent and really show everyone, like, step by step how we played it. I've wanted to do the sort of dessert bar concept and dessert tasting for a few years, and then when I got this opportunity and we had this space, I was just like, let's do it. It's a big risk in New York City, you've got competition and maybe it doesn't work, but you've got to try these things. I think traditionally people skip dessert because they have this notion that it's going to be so sweet that you've had a meal and you kind of get to fill up, you can't eat a load of sugar. So it's very important for us to really find that balance between sweet and savoury. Essentially it almost is a meal as opposed to 6 separate desserts. So for the 6-course tasting menu, we try and start almost savoury. So when you sit down, we start with some salt. The first course is actually an olive oil gelato with eucalyptus, which is pretty much not sweet. The eucalyptus is meant to sort of clean your sinuses almost. The olive oil is a very neutral flavour. And then the second course is then the yuzu honeycomb and barley ice cream, and that dessert is totally sweetened with honey. So even though there is an element of sweetness, but it's not going to affect you as much as like a refined sugar. The third course is definitely a sweeter course. It's our take on a PB&J, which we serve in a vintage peanut butter jar. And again, that's not just to be gimmicky or make it a show. When you eat it out of the jar, it's meant to take you back to being a kid. And then moving down the line, this is a miso cashew dessert, which has an element of sweetness, but again, miso is a very savoury flavour, which we're pairing with pink grapefruit, which has a very bitter flavour, so again, it's finding that balance. Moving on from that, we have a black sesame and chocolate dumpling with a ginger yuzu tea and finger limes. So that's a take on a traditional Chinese dessert. You take the dumpling in one bite and then you drink the tea, which kind of like, again, like cleans your palate again. And then the last course would be apple tatin. This is kind of our nostalgia type dessert. It's meant to take you back to your childhood. And we're not trying to change anything with this, we're just going classical. We flambe that with calvados in front of the guests, and then we serve it with some tonka ice cream. I think the nostalgia element of the meal, and especially at the end, is really important down here because that's what desserts are for a lot of people. It's that being at home, even if it's eating ice cream out of a tub, it's that moment that you really remember. So when we're creating a new dish in the dessert bar, we really start with the flavours. So we'll have like 2 or 3 flavours we're working with, and if we get to a stage where molecular gastronomy is going to make that dish, then we use it. Sometimes the dish is it's lacking something, or we want to change the texture, or we want to kind of reverse things around so the guest gets one flavour first and the next flavour last. The whole process about creating a menu, any menu for me anyway, it's really about trial and error. It's never just think of something, do it, go with it. You have to almost do it wrong to get it right. So there's so many things where I've thought this is going to be great, but when we taste it, it just doesn't work. And there's a lot of times there's the one you're like, nah, it's not going to work. Try it and it's really like a perfect match. With the desserts and the trial and error, I think it's been a real challenge for us to find that balance with the 6 courses. So you can have one great dessert that really tastes really good, but does it fit in with the other 5? Is it too rich? Is it too sour? Is it too acidic? Having those challenges is definitely a good thing because it pushes you. Otherwise, you can just kind of come in every day and just sling stuff out. That's not what we're trying to do. We're really trying to perfect what we're doing, and that challenge is good because I think from that challenge you end up with the best product you can get. If it's too easy, then everyone would do it.